ReCoded, ReCoded, ReCoded.
Welcome back, everyone, to ReCoded. We are so happy that you're here with us. The Alliance, myself, Sarah, Stacia, and Hannah. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And today we're talking about speed reading and how speed reading is your power. I was fortunate enough to take Hannah's speed reading course. I'll talk about my experience with that and just what that equated to. I always know with you, Hannah, I'm going to get more out of things, but that one I went in thinking like, I'm going to learn how to read faster. And so much came from that. So, yeah, let's just dive right in. I'm going to pass it over to you, Hannah, to explain like what is speed reading and get into how you got started with that, and what it can bring and help others with.
Yeah. Well, speed reading is one of those things that is so near and dear to my heart. So I'm trying to just condense the whole speed reading story of my life in a few minutes. But suffice it to say that my daughter had a teacher when she was in second grade who was going through a divorce, and my daughter never learned to read properly. So her entire schooling was so challenging for her because she was not taught to read in a proper way. And she was slow, and I always wanted to take her to take speed reading. I'd heard about these classes, and it was always a point of contention in my marriage because every time I wanted to sign her up, my husband would just say, no, she should be having fun and da-da-da-da, and always found a reason or an excuse for me not to do it. Finally, when I got divorced, one day I saw that they were having a special, and I was like, this is it. I am taking her. But I knew if I didn't go with her, that she wouldn't, first of all, she would be so uncomfortable going to a college setting. It was held at Columbia University in New York City, and I thought it would be too intimidating for her. But if I went with her, maybe she would get excited about it. So I told her we were going together. She said, okay, I'll go, reluctantly. But then I invited one of my dear friends who has very handsome sons, and she brought two or three of them. I think it was two of them, and I informed my daughter that she was going to spend the day with them, and all of a sudden she got very interested. Long story short, we all went together. We had a blast of a day, but when we left, they all just moved on with their lives. Me, I was obsessed with what I learned. I heard so many things. It was so incredible. I could see that this coach was putting together like law of attraction with the thing. And I felt like I had superpowers when I left. I was practicing every day. And by Thursday, on Wednesday morning, this was on a Sunday, by Wednesday, all of a sudden I wake up, I open my eyes like at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, and I could see a vision of a whole program. 3 days, I could see how I was going to teach this program. And I got up, I was like half asleep, trying to get a pencil, just a pen to write this down. And it was like 9 to 9:30, welcome, 9:30 to this. I was going to do this and this and this and this. And I just saw an entire vision like never before. In that moment, I knew that the only thing different I'd done was speed reading. And so I called them the next day and I said, I want to teach. And they said, funny, you should call us because we're looking for coaches. So come on over. I went over on the Saturday. Hal, who ended up being my dear partner, said, I heard you want to teach, so teach. And I'm like, excuse me, I came to like refresh myself. And then he's like, teach something. And I was like, okay. And he had shown a tapping video, if you all know tapping, about getting $50,000. And he was trying to connect the dots, but it wasn't landing on people. I had seen that video. I knew what he was trying to say, but he wasn't being able to connect the dots. And I said, listen, you've been showing this tapping video with this woman that's not even part of your organization for $50,000 because you're trying to tell people that with speed reading, you're able to get more money. Why don't I do a tapping for speed reading? He's like, that's brilliant. I go, give me 5 minutes. I sat there while he taught. I wrote a script. I got up and I started teaching people how to do tapping for speed reading. I had them cracking up. He told them, she wants to teach. Let me know if you like her. I taught the thing. I got a standing ovation. 150 people stood up, and they were all like, they loved it so much. And he looks at me, who goes, you're hired. And after that, it was all.
My God, Hannah, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. I was so scared. I'm like, teach something. I'm like, what do I teach? What do I teach? And then I'm like, okay, calm down. Okay, let's do the tapping. And you know, wow, that script that I say in my classes, like, even though there's this crazy woman telling you to tap on your head and do these crazy things. And I was just telling them, this crazy woman is telling you to do this. And I just started doing this really funny script about it, but it was so amazing. It worked so well because when you laugh, it also relaxes your nervous system. It creates a really incredible environment. And after that, he and I started teaching these classes. I would always say this speaks volumes about my personal life, because that's what I did on Saturday and Sunday. That was my hobby. Right, I went to teach speed reading for fun. That was my weekend at Columbia University. Right, it was the highlight of my week was teaching speed reading. But I started to notice all these things that were happening to me. One day after teaching speed reading, I was in the car. I heard on the radio that they were giving away tickets for this concert that Noelle, my daughter, wanted to go to. She was so keen on going to, and I just said, I'm getting tickets for that. I'm winning those tickets. And I started calling, and I won the tickets. I've never won anything calling on a radio contest. And all of a sudden I got her VIP weekend tickets for this whole thing. And I'm like, I got it. And she's like, what? Like, incredible, right? And the only thing that it could attribute it to was the speed reading. And I started to understand that what it was doing, it was so much more than reading fast. And that's what captivated me when I took the class for the first time, because I started knowing things that there was no way I could know, seeing things that there was no way I could see, that nobody else was seeing. It was almost like I was driving and then I could see around the bend before everybody else. And at the same time, I was doing my meditation. That was the time when I was doing my meditation, that it was across the street, and I was sitting, and the speed reading allowed me to understand what was happening in that meditation that allowed me to go deep. And everything just started to come together, like, and it just enmeshed itself. And it was like an incredible time. My partner was ready to start launching our program at the Home Shopping Network. They were negotiating a contract because I was there. He's like, I don't want to be on camera. You're perfect. You're an actor. You can do this. You be the face of speed reading. You're going to be the new Evelyn Wood, who's the woman who used to be his partner, right? And he's like, you're going to be the new Evelyn Wood, and you're going to be like the speed reading queen and all this. And he could not believe how fast I would pick up on ideas. And I would tell him, okay, what if I teach this? Or I'd come with a new idea in the morning, and he'd be like, okay, figure it out, and we'll do it next time. And then lunch would come around. I'd be like, I'm ready to teach it this afternoon. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I'm ready. I'm on fire. I'm teaching this today. And so every weekend we had 100 to 150 people sitting there, and I was able to hold their attention for 3-4 hours in a row. And people were just like glued to me the entire time. And it was just such an incredible feeling, right? That I was able to communicate this and in a way that they were understanding how powerful this was. Whereas before, Hal was like missing the connecting dots. But because all these things were happening simultaneously in my life, I don't know, I was just able to put it all together, or God just did a lightning bolt on me. Something happened that made it so amazing. Unfortunately, Hal had a very severe, a very advanced stage 4 cancer, and he ended up passing away. When he passed away, I stopped teaching for about 2 years. I didn't really get along with his partner. He was not a very up and up guy, and he wasn't like Hal. And I just quit, and I didn't teach for about 2 years. And then I feel like Hal kept coming to me because I had given him my word that I would continue his legacy. And I was like, I can't do it. I'm sorry, Hal, I can't. And I kept apologizing to him. And then one night he came to me in my dream and he said, do your own, put your own spin on it. Do your own thing. It's okay. Just don't let it die with me. Don't let it end with me. And that's when sync learning was born, because I was able to use everything that I learned from like the meditation, everything I learned from the sound healing, everything I learned from speed reading. And it just created this incredible program of accelerated learning that gives you so much more than reading fast. And Sarah, tell us your experience, because you had it. And it's funny, we were talking about this, and Stacia thought, let's talk about speed reading today, because I didn't get to take your program. And I'm like, what do you mean, Stacia? I thought you took the program.
I thought she was there.
You know, it's interesting because I feel like I was there, because everything that we were doing was drawing into what she was teaching. And I'd already heard this story. So I was always just, sometimes it was just Jana and I for hours. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, teach me.
Yeah.
Teach me your ways.
That's the thing, right? And we were so connected in, and a lot of the things overlap. And that was one thing that surprised me with when I took the speed reading. I was like, oh my God. Again, I'm always pleasantly surprised, but I don't know if I had expectation, or I just thought, oh, she's going to teach us a different way to read, or so. I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I was very pleasantly surprised when I took the course. And it never was boring. Like, you always kept me on my toes. And I realized, like, I just always kept telling myself, like, I'm a slow reader. I can't read well. And like, out of that course, I realized it wasn't, it was from teachers, right? Like, there was teachers that just told me that I wasn't good at that, or like I would never be able to do that. And it was like, again, those imprints that we have on us, it wasn't even mine. And I convinced myself that I would never be able to read fast. I'm like, I just read slow. It takes me a year and a half to read a book. And then, but I knew, like, with Jana, that you would be able to, if anybody could help me, you would be able to, one, read faster, but also to uncover, like, why I was so, like, stuck on, like, I couldn't read faster. For me, like, realizing that and knowing no, that's not me. And then every time we did it, every class, I was like reading faster and faster, because you'd have us like test, how fast we're reading. And because you created such a safe space, I never felt like I was in competition. It just really built up my confidence and my belief in myself. And it just really empowered me, that course. So Um, as you can see, it had a big impact on me, and it was a positive one. Even though I'm very emotional, it's just like reliving and thinking back to how powerful that was. And it put you teaching the way you taught that course, Hannah, put the control back into my hands. What a powerful gift to give somebody, that I was able to like to me, being able to read fast then was the cherry on top. But it was like knowing I'm capable of fucking anything, and like this, I just felt so empowered. So
yes, and that's the whole point of that program, right? Because I always said, well, you're going to read fast, period. You're just gonna, it's like almost infallible.
That's happening, but what else happens with it is like,
but the side effects, that's what made me just jump for joy. It's like I jump out of my skin with excitement whenever I think about that program, because it is so impactful in each person's life, and it is so automatic. And so it's like you're doing these things, and you don't, when you're going through the program, I guess, I don't know, you can tell me, Sarah, but
I think I know what you're going to say.
You're wondering, what the heck does this have to do with reading?
That's what I knew you were going to say it, because it's true. The things you're doing, like, wait, what? Like, I was really shocked when we started out the course. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, no, let it go. This is Hannah. She knows what she's doing. Right? So,
and then it's like, I'm having you do all these weird, crazy things. And then it's like, okay, let's read now. And then it's like, okay, let's time out how fast we're reading. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's put that aside. Let's continue. And then, at 3 hours later, we're like, okay, let's test our reading speed. And everybody's like, what the heck happened? How did that
we haven't read for 3 hours. What do we do? Yeah. Oh, I know. But then we were reading faster.
You're like all reading faster, right? And
I remember like shocked every time. I probably still have my like note somewhere where it showed like each, because we were recording how much faster we were reading, like how many minutes.
And people double and triple their reading speed by the end of class, and it's like,
and what a like, oh my gosh, for anything that you're doing, right? Any job, any career that you're in, especially business and an entrepreneur, like all the you're getting all the contacts coming to you. So to be able to like read that faster, confident, and know that you're taking in, that was another thing. There's people who are speed reading, but they're not, like, they think they're speed reading, but they're not. They're like, they're not picking up on what
you're not retaining it. You're seeing the words, and then the words are gone.
Yeah.
So,
and this isn't that. Like, this is like, okay, I'm gonna like actually be able to like, what do you call it? Like synthesize? Is that the right? I don't know. Whatever the word is.
Yeah, synthesize and
at
understand
the end,
what
like
you're
this
reading.
is what. Yeah.
But so. you read it, and in the end, you know what you read.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's that one thing, when you read a page and you get to the bottom and you're like, what did I just read?
And then you have to go
and
back.
Then you're on it's like, let me go back. Right. And then it's just like, it shows you where to focus your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
We had eye exercises that, by the way, got rid of my reading glasses.
Yeah. Similar. And I didn't even do the speed reading. It was just the exercises that you showed us.
You did those.
I continued to do them. And now I can't wear my glasses to drive because I can't see.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Right? So it's wild. It's wild because we don't exercise our eyes. We get taught to read in such an incredibly stupid way that is so damaging to our bodies, to our posture, to our eyes, to our neck.
Yep.
And when you start understanding, oh, well, if I'm not reading with a book flat on the desk, You just gotta, get at an angle and focus your eyes here and do this and do that. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm teaching you, and I always start the class. We're doing eye exercises. Forget about the reading; it'll come. You're gonna learn how to exercise your eyes, and everybody's like, "What? This is not what I paid for, lady."
Yeah.
But it's the energy. You're putting the energy to work behind it that people aren't realizing. And you make we've made these huge up levels since, working with you, because you've taught us all of these essentially life hacks. Yeah. I didn't take this class, and I'm excited to take this class, but I was getting the benefits of it because I was winning everything, because I was paying attention to what she was telling me. Sometimes it seemed ridiculous, but I was like, she's on to something here. Yeah. And I would just, if she asked me to do something, I'm like, okay, what is it going to hurt? And then it's like, wow. But it's all that energy that you're putting behind it that, we're just seeing this strange, look up, look down, look here, look there, read a book. But it's incredible because you have figured out how to sync all these incredibly magical things that you've learned and really empower people with them. So thank you.
But because it took me so long, it's like, I don't want people to spend 20 years trying to learn to meditate. It's a waste of time. We've run out of time.
Right.
Okay, we have no more time. We don't have that luxury anymore. The size of the internet doubles every year now. I think we're down to a year or 8 months or something like that. The actual size of the internet. When I started teaching speed reading, the size of the internet duplicated every 5 years. Then it was going to go to 2.5. And then it's like, but it's exponential. Now I think it's duplicating every 8 months or something like that. I don't know I don't have the figure. I haven't kept up with that. But this was like 12 years ago. So, you know, now, like, how much more information is there out there? And we need to be able to absorb as much information as possible in the most efficient and effective way.
Yep.
Without burning ourselves out. Right. And what about it being fun and feeling good? Because when we start speed reading and doing these exercises, oh my gosh, you get into a state. Your brain waves are going to slow down. You're going to start activating both hemispheres. When you're done with these exercises, you will have the logic to handle anything, but also the creative side. Yeah. And you're going to be using it all together. Yeah. There's no, okay, this is a logic problem. We're going to approach it from a logical point. And this is an artsy, creative problem. And we're going to look at it from that point of view. It's like, how can I bring the logic into the art into the logic, the creativity, the inventiveness, and to just go, and it just opens your world to a new dimension. And it is just like an explosion, right? And it gives you an edge in every area of your life, because then you're reading fast, but that's not what it's about. No. Like, that is just going to happen. Great. But it's the other stuff that's what fuels me. That's what makes me excited to teach this program, because it is just, you know, I remember I had this couple that one time they took the program. She took it. And the partner was like, I don't know that I want to take it. I don't want to spend the money. Mm-hmm. So I said, don't worry about it. Don't take it. And then she says, well, I'm going to be with him during the thing, and he's going to be listening anyway in the background. Basically, she was telling me that he was going to pretty much take the class anyway. And I said, well, invite him. And he took the program, and they loved it so much that in the end, he actually paid me for his program. Wow. He said, it doesn't, I would feel like I'm cheating you. And he's like, I'm going to pay you for this because it has changed our lives.
Wow.
And the most incredible thing that happened in that one, because I was doing this private class for her.
Yeah.
Things started to happen between them. And I'm like, oh, here we go. It up-leveled their relationship 10x.
Yeah.
The relationship between each other.
I believe
from this class. They were like, what did we sign up for?
Yeah, that's it, right? The whatever you call it, the ripple effect afterwards.
Yes. Yeah. I talk about a ripple effect on that one, because they literally, their relationship became so solid. I mean, they love each other to begin with. It wasn't like they were doing great. But this thing just brought them together in such a way. They were able to understand each other and see their point of view in a way that they never had. And they were like, oh, and when you do this, it means this, not that. And I was thinking it was that and not this. And then she would say that. And then he was like, oh, and they were mind blown through the whole thing. I don't know how it happened, why it happened. One of those things that just God puts me on the path. and I'm just like, thank you, God. You know, just thank you. And I feel so blessed. And that has been one of my biggest gifts in my life, that I will always be so grateful to have this in my life. And like every once in a while, I still think of Hal, and I send him all my love, and I am so appreciative, and that he gave me the opportunity, you know, to become their coach. And it was just he and I. After that, they weren't looking for a coach. Hal just thought, okay, let's do it. I don't know. It was just, you know,
it was
God conspiring to have that, and for me to be there. Because every time they tried to hire somebody else, they were like, no. That's so funny.
That's awesome.
So
I'm glad they did. Yes. So if people are interested in taking the speed reading course, because I'm sure people are going to be flocking to you now.
Yes,
they can. Yeah, you guys can reach out. You can send us an email. You can contact Jana directly. We will put her information in the show notes today as well for that. Anything you want to add for the course or information for people to reach out to you, Jana?
Well, yeah, they can send me a DM on Instagram, and we'll put an email address or a link or something. But just know that it's the way I teach it now is across 4 Saturdays. We have a long class, like a 4-hour program on one Saturday, when you learn the bulk of it, and then 3 other Saturdays we get back and we just reinforce, so that you can, because I realize that a lot of people, you tell them all you have to do is practice 15 minutes a day per day, and then people don't do it. And then it's like, well, you know, I did it, it worked, and then I didn't practice, so I'm done. So now what I do is every Saturday, you have to practice throughout the week, but then every Saturday we get together and we have Q&A. We do another test. I teach you new things that will just are like the advanced part of it. Yes. Or things that I just think I literally read the energy of the group, and whatever the group needs, that's what it just happens. So you will be sure to get what exactly you need, and to really succeed at this thing. And then after that, it'll be the 21 days of practicing, and you'll be set. And after that, even if you don't practice daily, you know how to do it. And then as you're reading, you're practicing. So now you know a different way, because you didn't get to read in the way that you do now so quickly. It's like you've been practicing your entire life, right? So you need to practice a little bit to get to get to do it.
Yes.
And the only thing that I want to say is, like, if you have a question like, if I learn speed reading, does that mean I'm never going to be able to read slow again? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that you're just going to have like a Ferrari and you're going to can step on it, but you can also do your Sunday drive, the 15 miles per hour, and be fine. So you are in control. You have the power. You make the choice. But what you're going to experience outside of the speed reading, I don't know what it's going to be because everybody's different, but I can tell you it can potentially blow your mind.
Yes. Okay, Stacia, I'm going to hand it over to you for your astrology forecast.
I love this because right now we're in this energy. Well, we're in a lot of energy, as you probably know. We have so many retrogrades, but just because our planet is retrograding and things might be going a little wonky, sometimes there's these silver linings in these things. And right now we're in this energy of Uranus turning retrograde in Taurus. And, you know, Uranus is this awakening planet. You know, it kind of comes in and it forces us to change, you know, revolt, innovate. And I thought that this was a perfect topic for this time because really what you can do is up level yourself. You can really figure out what it is that, you know, maybe has been holding you back and just really figure out how you want to look at it in a new way. And I thought speed reading equals power. Like, yes, that is exactly what we're wanting to do, is we're wanting to empower ourselves when things may not be looking the best and maybe things are looking great, because really when you take that rein, you can kind of turn yourself in the direction that you're wanting to go, or you can just let it drag you. And we don't want that, right? We definitely don't want that. And we've got Venus turning back direct in Leo. So that's starting to lighten up. You know, there's always like a pre-shadow period and then a post-shadow period. So things have been a little bit heavy, you know, here and there. So that's starting to lighten up for us. And then we've got this Jupiter retrograde beginning, also in Taurus. And really Jupiter, you know, is a planet of luck and good fortune. So there's really not a lot of bad that comes out of that. However, you may not have as many opportunities. So that's when we have to start making our own opportunities, as in sign up for speed reading and watch your life change magically. And we've got a last quarter moon in Gemini coming up too. And that is just helping us to release things that are holding us back, or releasing things that are keeping us from where we're ultimately wanting to go. So I feel like this astrology that we're in, it's a lot, but you really have the ability to turn it into what you're desiring. So I'm gonna leave it there.
I wanted to second that on my part. You're like the speed. I'm like, dude, the speed reading is going to help you in your business too, because you were talking about that, Hannah. I was like, yeah, like it impacted all areas. And I think the big thing for me, what I want to add is just, you know, I feel like for my example, when I discovered, for me, reading went back to like when I was a kid and I believed I couldn't. I just like never. There's always going to be something. And for me, like I realized that in that class. So I can only imagine what it'll bring out for other people who join that speed reading class. But what the power that came out of that was that didn't have to stay my story anymore. And I could do whatever I wanted. I could do whatever the hell I wanted. And let that be your story. Like you get to rewrite that. That was written for you. And now you get to decide. There is nothing that will stop you in business, in life, in entrepreneurship. And speed reading is just going to take you to that next level in your life and business. So I'm so excited.
This very rainy evening, I am going to tell you a little story. But before, I'm going to have you just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. When you exhale through your mouth, just imagine letting go of every one of your problems, every one of your challenges, anything that is going on right now in your life that's feeling like it's a challenge that's bigger than yourself. And we're gonna inhale and then let it all go. Inhale again. Letting it all go. And one more time. Inhale. Letting it all go. If you're sitting down, go ahead and make contact with your mind and the bottom of your feet. Notice where they are, what position they're in, if they're touching the floor. That allows you to really embody your body, because normally we're living our life from the neck up, right? In our mind and all the way outside, looking for answers, looking for solutions that are found mostly inside of ourselves, but we were led to believe somehow that we are going to find them if we look outside. And I hope that this story illustrates the power of opening your mind to learning new things and allowing yourself to let go of the things that you believe are right and holding on so tight to those things that you don't allow a new point of view or a new perspective to come into your life that could change everything for you. So there was a newlywed couple, and one night the wife decided to make a lovely dinner for her husband. So she was going to make a special roast. And she was in the kitchen, she had her roast, she grabs a knife and cuts one edge of the roast, the other edge of the roast, and throws them out. The husband was there and he saw her doing this and asked her, why are you throwing the perfectly good meat out? He said, well, I don't know, my mom makes the roast this way and it's the most spectacular roast, so I'm just gonna follow it to the T. Okay, they had the beautiful roast. Another day, they're at the mother-in-law's house and the husband walks into the mother-in-law's kitchen and the mother-in-law's preparing the roast and he sees her doing the same thing. She cuts one edge of the roast, another edge of the roast, throws them out in the garbage. He says, you know, mother, why do you do that? My wife made a roast for me and she did the same thing. What's the special secret? He said, you know, I don't know. My mom makes the roast that way and it's the most spectacular roast, so I follow the recipe to the T. All right. One day, the husband is at the grandmother's house. She's preparing the roast. He walks in, he looks at her, she grabs her roast, she rubs it, she prepares it, puts it in a pan, sticks it in the oven. And the guy says, excuse me, why aren't you cutting the edges? Your granddaughter cuts the edges, or your daughter cuts the edges, and they say that's your secret to your recipe. She says, oh no, when I used to make the roast, my oven was too small and my roast didn't fit. So I had to cut the edges off. So how many times have we done stuff? Have we cut the edges of perfectly good stuff and throw them out because that's the way we saw somebody else do it? How's that working out for you? So if this story has made you think, I'm very happy. And if you want to get more of that, like a fire hose, sign up for my speed reading course, and I guarantee when you come out of it, you will not be the same person.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. If you have any questions about speed reading or about the course when it starts, connect with us on email or directly with Jana, because she'll have all the questions or answers to your questions. And yes, please like, subscribe, all the things. Follow us on our Instagram and, you know, participate there, engage. The more that you engage with us and share and like and subscribe, the more people we will reach. And just that's what we're here for, right? We want to reach as many people as possible and help everybody recode all the shit. All right. Thank you again. And we will see you all on our next episode.
Bye. ReCoded.